Some artifacts reveal history, others rewrite it. Scattered across the world are objects that defy logic, challenge what we know, and leave us questioning the past. Who etched massive, perfectly straight lines into the Bolivian desert, lines that stretch for miles but serve no clear purpose? Why did an ancient civilization sculpt statues of humanoid figures with reptilian features? And hidden deep within an Egyptian temple, does a mysterious carving depict a symbolic ritual, or something far more advanced? These are not myths or exaggerations. They are real, unearthed relics that archaeologists struggle to explain. Some theories seem reasonable, others border on the impossible. In this video, we explore 7 of the most mysterious artifacts ever discovered, each one bringing us closer to the edge of what we think we know, and beyond. Hidden beneath the earth for centuries, the Cochno Stone held a secret, an ancient message carved into stone. When it was finally uncovered in 1887, its surface revealed something breathtaking, an intricate network of swirling carvings stretching over 12 meters, circles within circles, lines connecting unknown points, shapes that seemed deliberate yet unreadable. It was as if someone had left a message thousands of years ago, intended for a future that had forgotten how to understand it. Estimated to be at least 5,000 years old, these markings don't resemble the hunting scenes or human figures found in other ancient carvings. Instead, they spiral outward in repeating patterns, as though following a logic we no longer recognize. Were they meant to chart the stars, mark sacred ground, or encode forgotten knowledge? Some archaeologists suggest these symbols were a way of communicating across generations, a script left behind by a prehistoric civilization we barely understand. Others believe they were tied to rituals, burial practices, or even altered states of consciousness, a visual language meant to be read not with the eyes, but with the mind. But there's something strange about the Cochno Stone. Unlike other prehistoric markings, these symbols don't depict animals, humans, or battles. There is no clear pattern that connects them to daily life. Instead, they interlock in ways that suggest something bigger was being recorded, something beyond their world. Some theorists suggest it represents a cosmic map, a celestial blueprint encoded in stone. Others wonder if it was a place of gathering, where shamans or priests attempted to interpret visions or communicate with something unseen. In the mid-20th century, the stone was reburied by authorities, not out of respect but to protect it from vandalism. This only deepened the mystery. Why would something so ancient, so seemingly important, be hidden away again? Some claim it was to prevent further damage, while others whisper of something more, an artifact that doesn't fit within the accepted historical narrative. In recent years, new studies have begun, using modern technology to scan the carvings in 3D. Yet even with advanced tools, the meaning remains elusive. If we could decode its symbols, would we glimpse the mind of an ancient civilization, or uncover something even stranger? One thing is certain, the past is speaking. We just haven't learned how to listen. High in the Bolivian Altiplano, an enigma stretches across the land. Thousands of perfectly straight lines, etched into the earth with a precision that defies explanation. Unlike the Nazca geoglyphs, these lines do not form recognizable shapes or figures. They are long, unbroken pathways, some extending over 20 kilometers, crisscrossing the landscape with no apparent destination. They are known as the Sajama Lines, and no one knows why they exist. Covering an area of nearly 22,000 square kilometers, this vast network is one of the largest collections of ancient geoglyphs on Earth, yet it remains one of the least studied. Estimated to be at least 3,000 years old, these lines were created by removing the dark surface layer of soil, exposing the lighter earth beneath. But how did ancient civilizations achieve such perfect alignment across enormous distances? Some lines run parallel, while others intersect, forming a complex web that seems too deliberate to be random. Theories abound, yet no explanation fully accounts for the sheer scale and precision of the Sajama Lines. Some researchers believe they were ceremonial pathways, guiding pilgrims to sacred sites or forming a ritual landscape. Others suggest they could be astronomical markers, aligning with solstices, equinoxes, or celestial bodies. However, there is no surviving text, no records left by their creators, only endless lines stretching into the horizon. One of the greatest mysteries is their unwavering precision. Even with modern surveying equipment, replicating these straight paths across mountainous terrain without deviation would be a challenge. Some archaeologists propose that ancient civilizations possessed advanced knowledge of land measurement, utilizing methods that have since been lost. Others speculate that the lines, due to their vast visibility from above, could have been messages to the gods or celestial markers. a concept not uncommon in ancient cultures. Unlike other geoglyphs, the Sajama Lines remain largely untouched. There is no tourism industry built around them, no efforts to restore or reconstruct them. They remain as they were thousands of years ago, slowly fading into the desert winds, yet still visible, silent, unchanging, and waiting to be understood. Why would an ancient civilization dedicate such immense effort to carving lines across the landscape with no clear purpose? Were they mapping something long forgotten, tracking movements of the stars, or creating a sacred space for rituals beyond our comprehension? Whatever their true meaning, one thing is certain: the desert holds secrets, and the Sajama Lines are among its most enigmatic. Across the rugged coast of Sweden, carved into the ancient bedrock, are thousands of images left behind by a civilization long forgotten. Warriors, ships, animals, and abstract symbols stretch across the stones of Bohuslan, a region home to one of the world's most extensive collections of Bronze Age rock carvings. But among the depictions of daily life, something stands out: figures inside strange, rounded craft, floating above the ground. Were these visions of celestial beings, or could they be evidence of something even more astonishing? Dating back over 3,000 years, these petroglyphs are unlike most prehistoric art. The ships carved into the stone resemble those used by seafaring cultures, yet their exaggerated size and strange designs have led some to speculate they could depict something beyond earthly vessels. Even more puzzling are the humanoid figures with outstretched arms, standing inside domed enclosures, a detail that has fueled theories of ancient contact with something unknown. Archaeologists argue that the carvings likely represent religious ceremonies, mythological stories, or even shamanic visions. Some believe the figures inside the strange enclosures symbolize ritual spaces or spiritual journeys, possibly depicting trance-like experiences. Others suggest the ships are merely stylized representations of Bronze Age watercraft, magnified in importance by an ancient people's reverence for the sea. Yet the oddities remain. Unlike other Nordic carvings, some of these figures seem eerily disconnected from the everyday world. The lack of clear context, combined with the abstract shapes, has led to speculation that these images record encounters beyond human understanding. Could they be attempts to depict celestial events, meteorological phenomena, or even something modern eyes might recognize as spacecraft? What is certain is that the Bohuslan carvings were made with intent. They were not the idle etchings of a passing traveler, nor random markings on stone. They were a message, one meant to endure. Did their creators seek to record something they had seen? Or were they simply crafting myth, etching their gods and stories into rock so they would never be forgotten? Whatever their purpose, these carvings challenge our perception of the past. If they truly depict only what their creators saw, then perhaps history is more complex than we ever imagined. Deep within South Africa's ancient rock formations, miners have unearthed something that should not exist: small polished spheres with a metallic sheen, embedded in stone, estimated to be 2.8 billion years old. These objects, known as the Klerksdorp Spheres, challenge everything we know about human history. How could something so precise be found in rock layers that predate even the earliest life forms on Earth? The spheres vary in size, with some as small as a few centimeters in diameter. Some are nearly perfect in shape, while others have 3 parallel grooves encircling them, as if intentionally crafted. Found near the town of Ottosdal, they have sparked heated debates between geologists, historians, and those who believe they might be evidence of something extraordinary. Most scientists argue that the spheres are simply natural formations, concretions created by mineral deposits over millions of years. According to this view, the grooves could have formed through natural geological processes, their symmetry a mere coincidence. Yet skeptics point out that some spheres are so perfectly balanced that they resemble manufactured objects, challenging the idea that they are simply a quirk of nature. Adding to the mystery, reports claim that some of the spheres spin on their own when placed in a vibration-free environment, something that should not happen if they were just ordinary rocks. While this claim remains unverified, it has only fueled speculation that the Klerksdorp Spheres are more than they appear. Further adding to the intrigue, some spheres contain a fibrous structure inside, while others appear to be hollow. Tests conducted in the 1970s suggested that the outer shells of certain spheres are unusually hard, comparable to steel in some cases, making it unclear how natural weathering could have shaped them so precisely. Could they be artifacts from a lost civilization, one that existed far earlier than our current timeline allows? If they are natural, they remain an incredible anomaly, geological formations so unusual that they mimic human craftsmanship. But if they are artificial, the implications are staggering. It would mean that someone or something had the ability to shape stone with extraordinary precision billions of years ago, long before recorded civilization. So, what are the Klerksdorp Spheres? A rare geological oddity, artifacts from an unknown past, or something even more unthinkable? Whatever the answer, they remain locked in the stone of Earth's ancient history, refusing to give up their secrets. Golden relics from a lost civilization, crafted with such precision that they resemble something far ahead of their time. The Quimbaya Artifacts, discovered in Colombia, date back over 1,000 years, created by the Quimbaya people, an ancient culture known for its masterful metallurgy. Most of their artifacts depict animals, people, and ceremonial objects, but a select few stand out. These small golden figurines bear an uncanny resemblance to modern airplanes, complete with wings, stabilizers, and even what some claim to be landing gear. Archaeologists classify them as zoomorphic figures, believing they represent stylized birds, insects, or fish. But their shape has sparked a far more radical theory, that these objects are evidence of ancient flight. The most striking detail: some of the artifacts have aerodynamic properties that allow them to glide when scaled up and tested in modern wind tunnels. Could the Quimbaya people have known something we don't? The most famous experiment supporting this theory took place in the 1990s when aviation experts built a scaled-up version of one of the golden figurines. They fitted it with a small propulsion system, and it flew. Skeptics argue that this proves nothing, as many naturally occurring forms, such as certain fish and birds, also exhibit aerodynamic efficiency. But others insist that the resemblance to modern aircraft is too precise to be coincidence. If these artifacts are merely artistic representations of animals, why do they lack eyes, feathers, or any clear biological features? And why do some have vertical stabilizers and delta wings, design elements unheard of in nature? Even more puzzling, some theorists suggest these artifacts resemble not just airplanes, but supersonic jets or even space shuttles. Were these shapes a result of pure artistic imagination, or were they inspired by something real? Mainstream archaeology maintains that the Quimbaya people were skilled artisans but had no knowledge of flight. Yet history has proven that civilizations sometimes possess knowledge that is lost and rediscovered centuries later. Did the Quimbaya see something? An unknown technology, a symbolic vision, or even an ancient flying machine? For now, the Quimbaya artifacts remain in museums, their meaning undeciphered. Whether they represent birds, mythical creatures, or something beyond our understanding, one fact is undeniable: these golden figures continue to defy explanation. Thousands of years before the rise of Sumer, before the great ziggurats and the first written words, a forgotten people lived in what is now modern-day Iraq. They were the Ubaid culture, one of the earliest known civilizations in Mesopotamia, flourishing over 7,000 years ago. Little remains of them, just scattered ruins, fragments of pottery, and something far more puzzling: figurines depicting humanoid figures with reptilian features. Discovered in Tel al-Ubaid, Eridu, and Ur, these figurines are unlike anything else from the period. They have elongated skulls, slanted eyes, and even what appear to be lizard-like snouts. Some are male, some female. One even appears to be a mother holding a child. Strangely, they are often posed in ordinary, almost domestic scenes. But why would an ancient civilization create reptilian humanoids with such lifelike detail? Mainstream archaeology suggests they are stylized representations of gods or spirits, perhaps linked to early Mesopotamian mythology. Some propose they could be depictions of priests wearing ceremonial masks, used in rituals lost to time. Others take a more speculative approach. Were these figurines inspired by something real? Did the Ubaid people have myths of reptilian beings, or did they encounter something beyond our understanding? Unlike later Mesopotamian deities, the Ubaid figurines have no inscriptions, no temples dedicated to them, and no clear explanation for their existence. They vanish from history as mysteriously as they appeared. The fact that these humanoid figures do not resemble the artistic styles of other Ubaid artifacts only deepens the mystery. Were they depictions of ancestral spirits, forgotten legends, or something else entirely? Some researchers draw connections between the serpent symbolism found in later civilizations, from the Nagas of Hindu mythology to the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl. Could these be early representations of a motif that later spread across cultures? Or do they hint at something deeper, a story erased from history? For now, The Ubaid Lizardmen remain one of the greatest enigmas of the ancient world. Whether they were gods, priests, or symbols of something far older, their presence raises an unsettling question. How many of history's secrets have already been lost? Deep within the Temple of Hathor in Dendera, Egypt, a series of carvings stretches across the stone walls. Images so unusual that they have ignited one of the most controversial debates in archaeology. Among the many depictions of gods and rituals, one scene stands apart. A group of figures holding what appear to be massive, elongated bulbs, complete with filament-like structures inside. Could this be evidence that the ancient Egyptians knew of electricity? To mainstream Egyptologists, the answer is simple. The carvings are representations of mythological symbols, likely connected to the Egyptian creation story. The so-called bulbs resemble lotus flowers, from which a snake, symbolizing divine energy, emerges. Supporting this interpretation, similar motifs appear elsewhere in Egyptian art, but skeptics argue that this explanation ignores the striking resemblance to modern electrical devices. Some theorists point to the strange tube-like shapes, the snake inside resembling a filament, and what appears to be an insulated base. Even more intriguing, adjacent figures seem to be operating the objects, as if engaged in a technical process. Supporters of the ancient technology theory claim this could be a depiction of an early form of electric lighting, possibly used to illuminate temple chambers without soot-producing torches or oil lamps. Further fueling the theory is the Baghdad battery, an artifact from Mesopotamia that some believe functioned as a primitive electrochemical cell. If electricity was known in the ancient world, could the Egyptians have found a way to use it? Some experiments have even tested replicas of the Dendera carving, using electrostatic principles to generate light, though none have conclusively proven the theory. Critics argue that the absence of any physical evidence of electrical devices, conductors, or infrastructure makes the idea impossible. No copper wiring, no ancient power sources, nothing beyond the carvings themselves. But others point out that the Egyptians were master engineers, capable of incredible feats, many of which are still not fully understood. If they did have knowledge of electricity, could it have been a sacred or closely guarded secret, lost to time? The Dendera Light remains one of the most debated artifacts of ancient Egypt. Was it simply an elaborate religious symbol, or a glimpse into an unknown chapter of human history? Until more evidence emerges, it remains a riddle, one carved in stone, waiting to be decoded. Across the world, ancient civilizations left behind artifacts that challenge everything we think we know. Some may have logical explanations waiting to be uncovered, while others defy reason, as if whispering from a past we no longer understand. Were these forgotten technologies, messages encoded in stone, or mere coincidences? One thing is certain: history is still hiding its secrets. The deeper we look, the more questions arise. What do you think? Are these artifacts proof of lost knowledge, or is there another explanation? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into the unexplained, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's next. And don't stop here. Check out our other videos on ancient mysteries, forgotten civilizations, and the unsolved riddles of the past. The next discovery might change everything.